April version of the Johnston County Planning Board meeting. As is our custom, we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask Mr. Lovering to lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, number 2 on our agenda is approval of the minutes from the March Planning Board meeting. Any questions or comments or revisions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
Motion to approve by Mr. Little, a second by Ms. Holmes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next on our agenda are subdivisions. I'll remind everyone that all land in Johnston County is zoned agricultural residential unless it's been rezoned. As such, you can farm it or build houses. Given that we are the last approval body for preliminary subdivisions in the county, this is a quasi-judicial hearing. I'll ask if you want to speak as it relates to a subdivision that you be sworn in, so I'll need you to stand now and raise your right hand. If you're going to speak at all as it relates to a subdivision. Do you affirm the information you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and this is your solid affirmation?
Yes.
Solemn affirmation. Thank you. All right. We'll begin with Waverly Pond, Mr. Moore.
Yes, sir. Waverly Pond owner and developers MHB Development LLC. Its surveyors Bass, Nixon, and Kennedy Incorporated. Its location is Applewhite Road at Waverly Pond Lane in the Wilders Township, served by the Corinth Holders Fire District Clayton Rescue. It's 12.12 acres, 4 lots proposed. Johnston County water, individual septic, traffic counts not available. This portion of Applewhite Road does not appear on the comprehensive transportation plan as needing improvement. This parcel is within the environmentally sensitive area, however, no floodplain appears on the parcel. If you'll see, I got notes from the Johnston County Land Design Manual concerning developing 4 or more lots, and it's dealing with easements, if you would like to read those. Other than that, I have nothing else right now. Just know that a waiver can be allowed if determined by the planning board that in pursuit of this section from the Land Design Manual, hardship is created from the property that provides no benefit to the safety, welfare, or quality of life of the public.
All right, any questions of staff? All right, thank you, sir. Who'd like to be heard on behalf of Waverly Pond? Please give us your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Michael Morrison, MHB Development, and I'm the owner of the property, and we're here for your approval of these lots and here to answer any questions that you may have. Be glad to give you a little history on it if you need.
Yeah, if you don't mind. I mean, obviously, your staff's recommended denial, and you're asking for a waiver, so we probably need to hear a little information around the hardship there.
Yeah, all these, basically, these lots are just additional lots within an existing subdivision, internal to a subdivision. When you hear easement, most people's mind goes to a dirt gravel road with, one car can go down, but this is actually an improved private street, blacktop surface, nice road through there, but it is in an easement, not a DOT right-of-way. And so the original subdivision is the lots to the north. This tract to the south is where these new lots are being added. But the 3 that are really added, the lot 2 you see there out on Applewhite and Waverly, and lot 1 are already off Waverly Pond Lane. All these lots, these new ones as well as the one to the north, are all maintained by a recorded declaration with a road maintenance agreement, so that all the property owners will maintain that street. And so it's actually a blacktop street, just like you'd see in a subdivision, basically. I'm trying to think. Of course, our driveway permit with DOT we got originally for the initial subdivision. I talked to Kyle Little at DOT, and they did a new traffic count, an ADT traffic count out here a month ago. And there's only 2,000 trips a day, so per DOT you could have unlimited lots in this area and not have to have any improvements out on Applewhite. So it meets all the DOT driveway requirements of my existing driveway permit. And so really just looking to add these lots in the center of that subdivision, really. But there, like I said, there is a existing road maintenance agreement that I recorded, and then this tract was through a supplemental annexation added to it, so all of the lots would be under that maintenance agreement. Already a mailbox, a CBU out there on the street, and already street signs up and all that stuff like. And on the recorded map also, it'll show that they all front Waverly Pond Lane, not Applewhite.
So will each lot have their own subdivision, or were you sharing subdivision? Or, not subdivision, but each lot have their own driveway, or
Yeah,
were you sharing
yeah,
driveways? Okay.
they front Waverly, so everybody have a driveway off
Okay.
Waverly, just like.
That's what I was
just
thinking.
like any other
I just wanted,
subdivision.
just to clarify.
Yeah, there's none of them, none of them front to Applewhite. They all,
Right, it's all in Waverly,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
even the original subdivision, that lot 1, comes to Waverly.
All right, any other questions of the gentleman? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to Waverly Pond? Yes, sir, give us your name and address, please.
Yes, good evening. My name is Whit Davis. I own property adjacent to this subdivision. And I have two concerns I would like to express. If you look at the preliminary map, you have the 4 lots. And as Mr. Morrison just said, they will be fronting Waverly Pond Lane, which is fine. I own what is designated on this map as an existing gravel drive. That is my property that 4 other families have easements to use. My concern is if this map is approved as it states, that these lots it may be implied by it only saying existing gravel drive that they would have access to use this. And I do not wish that to be the case. This is private property. So my desire would be for this map to reflect that being a private driveway. Okay? That's the first concern. The other concern, again, may sound trivial. However, it's not trivial to the folks who are out there. But I'm not sure what the intent of the developer is by naming this subdivision Waverly Pond Drive. There is a large pond at the end of this subdivision, which there are 4 owners of the pond. It's never been called Waverly. It has no name. We do not wish it to be called Waverly. My concern is if this is approved, that it will be telling the public that that is the name of this pond, and we do not wish that to be the case. It's, the owner of that lot 1 will have pond frontage, and we understand that. I also understand that as a developer, Mr. Morrison has the right to name it whatever he likes. I understand that. However, I'm concerned that by naming it Waverly Pond, that it's telling the public that that's the name of this pond, which it is not. So again, sounds trivial to most people, but I can assure you to the other owners, one of which my neighbor has been there over 20 years. I've been there for 4 years now. We don't want a pond that we have part ownership in being named by someone who's never been there before. So those are my 2 concerns. So I'll entertain any questions on that.
Is the private street that runs through there currently named Waverly Pond Lane?
No, sir. That Waverly Pond is the street that Mr. Morrison put in. And what I'm talking about, if you look at the map, at the back of the 4 lots, right here, it says existing gravel drive. That's my driveway. in the red, if you see the red there. And then I own a large part of the pond. My neighbor that's with me owns part of the pond up at the top. So again, we've owned parts of this pond for years, and, you know, we don't prefer it to be called anything at all because it's never had a name. We don't want the public to think that, again, it's part of this subdivision, that anyone who buys this land has access to it. If Mr. Morrison wants to give them access to his frontage, that's his right. But again, we don't want to imply by the subdivision name that this pond belongs to the subdivision.
So my question was Mr. Morrison's road that he put in currently named Waverly Pond Lane?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah. It's on the top part.
right, that's right.
the top part.
Yeah, and I have no issue with that part of it.
That-
Just the name, but,
So, looking at your parcel boundary there, it appears to me that, and just want to make sure I'm correct here, that gravel driveway is completely within your parcel, and that property abuts your parcel, but doesn't necessarily abut the gravel driveway. Is that, I mean, I understand your concern, I just want to make sure that I'm clear on where it's not an easement, it's an actual deeded part of
right,
the
the
parcel.
red part that you see there is not part of Mr. Morrison's property.
Sure.
But it abuts it on the back of these lots.
Okay.
These 4 lots here. His asphalt drive that he put in is here. This is my driveway.
Yeah, the concern is, so you don't want people to think they can use the front and the back of their
Well,
lot.
they can use the front. That would
Right,
be
right.
clear.
But they don't, you want to make sure they can use the back. Okay.
That's correct.
And then who all owns the pond? I know it's on your property, it'd be also on this property. And
Yeah,
then, it looked like
again,
there
if
was
you look-
up at the corner some too.
Yeah, there are actually 4 different owners.
Okay,
Um,
that's what it looked like on the map.
Right. This is my property. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Joe that's with me owns this property, I'm sorry. Okay, and then
Looks like
Mr.
there's-
Morrison now owns this property. Now, all of this property here is also my property. So I own all of this. Joe owns that property, then the one above him owns that. Mr. Morrison, I think, owns the rest of this on this side. And this is the driveway I'm talking about, that is our driveway. And those 4 lots are right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. So I think my land mass, I don't know, I've not measured it, but I may own more of the pond than anyone else. I don't know, but
It looks like
it
it.
appears that way from the map. And I will make a statement. My father was a developer here in Johnston County for 30 years. He's been retired, so I'm not anti-development, but I just want to be sure that things are done properly.
Yeah, we'll have you once we get there, but. Any other questions, gentlemen? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to Waverly Pond? Yes, sir.
Just to address his concerns, I guess the first thing is you'd asked the name Waverly Pond Lane, that is already an existing street. It's already got addresses, it's already been there for a while. The name Waverly Pond on Lot 3, do you see right in the center of my big tract, you see north, you see that pond right there? Right, that little pond right? Well,
On the, yeah.
The
I see
northern
it.
pond,
Right
right,
there.
well, yeah.
The property to the north of that, the original subdivision, there's a pond there. That's what that is intended to be. This Waverly Pond only goes down to to the break between that little pond and that lot to the front of it, towards the big pond. So that's where that road stops right there. It doesn't go all the way down to the end. So Waverly Pond was never intended to name this pond in the back Waverly Pond. That's the first thing. That's an existing street. His driveway that he's talking about to the south is a driveway access for him and the neighbors in the back. My tract was created as a result of their properties years ago. My property was specifically not included in the use of his driveway. Everybody that uses that driveway, in their deeds, it actually says they have egress and ingress access. But mine does not, and I never had any intentions of ever using the driveway. Unless obviously he told me I could, but that's why I did everything to the north. So nobody in the declarations that are recorded against these lots specifically say that their only access here is here. The only people in this subdivision that have access to the big pond in the back are the people that own lots on that pond. So there's two. There'll be this 8-acre tract here that's left over here, and the one to the north of that, you see where to the left of that little pond I was talking about. That was a lot that was created a while back that a couple has already owned, and they're going to build. So these two are the only lots. The whole subdivision doesn't have access to that private pond in the back. So hopefully that addresses this question. Nobody's going to have any intentions of going on to that. And my declarations that are recorded against them say that. And Waverly Pond name was not intended for be that in the back. And it's an existing street.
Just curious, the lot to the north you mentioned,
Yeah.
that was left of the little pond.
Yeah.
Where's their access on that lot?
That driveway, you see that gravel drive?
To the north?
The neighbor to the north of these red lines gave him a deeded access.
Okay.
He shares that driveway from there out to Applewhite.
Gotcha.
And then he comes across that lot, and there's an easement for him to use the back of that couple's lot. So, yeah. So that was all addressed originally. So anyway, hopefully that answers.
Any other questions?
Anybody have any questions? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll bring it back to staff.
Staff recommendation was denial due to the easement not being up to meeting the county requirements.
Make a motion for approval in lieu of the fact that it is a paved drive going into to serve those lots, and also there's an agreement in place for.
I second.
them.
Okay. I have a motion for approval by Mr. Little, a second by Ms. Holmes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Dunn tract.
Dunn tract owner Lolita Dunn, developer Steelbridge Crossing, surveyors Dalton Engineering and Associates. It's Allen's Crossroad Road west of Juniper Church Road in the Banner Township. It's served by the Blackman's Crossroads Fire and Four Oaks Rescue. It's 27.6 acres, 17 lots proposed. Individual septic, county water. Traffic count's not available. This portion of Allen's Crossroads Road does not appear on the comprehensive transportation plan as needing improvement.
All right, any questions? Thank you, sir. Who'd like to be heard on behalf of Dunn tract?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. My name is Jonathan Barnes. I'm employed at Dalton Engineering and Associates. Our office is located at 446 East Main Street, Clayton, North Carolina. Our office is assisting the developer with the subdivision application for the Dunn tract. Just a few things to note regarding the subdivision application. The street that's proposed, it is proposed to be designed to NCDOT criteria and ultimately petitioned by NCDOT for future maintenance. Each of the lots is proposed to be served internally to the proposed subdivision street. Public water is proposed to be provided by Johnston County Public Utilities, with septic lots being reviewed and approved by Johnston County Environmental Health. We are showing a mailbox kiosk area for the proposed lots. And just here tonight to help answer any questions that the board might have.
What about the pond? Is that gonna be existing, or is it gonna be filled in, or, what is the deal with that?
The pond is proposed to remain.
Okay.
And will that be shared amongst just the two lots, or will that be an neighborhood amenity?
That would just be located on, okay, that would not be a proposed neighborhood amenity.
Okay.
Is there a reason behind splitting the pond among two lots? Or is that just kind of where the line fell?
Kind of where the line fell, due to septic soils work. The reason the lots on the back of the cul-de-sac are a little larger, just we basically ran out of suitable soil. But to answer your question, yes, that's where the line fell.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to Dunn Tract? All right, bring it back to staff.
Staff recommendations, preliminary approval subject to the conditions and requirements in the staff report.
I would just like to note that the schools in the subdivision and the last one we approved are at capacity and well past capacity. I'd like to make a note of that.
I do think it would, and I think it would make sense to have that pond on one lot. I don't know that we necessarily need to make it a condition, but, you know,
I agree, and I was going to ask the same thing, if we could redraw that line. I agree with Will.
just do you want to make it a condition, or are you happy with it just being a suggestion?
I think we should make it a condition.
Will that work from an engineering standpoint? Okay, all right.
I mean, it's barely on on lot 10 anyway. I just think it'll be easier if that one pond is on one lot,
I think so.
especially for
just
ownership.
to avoid ownership issues in the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve, adding the condition of redrawing Lot 10's boundaries to exclude the pond. It needs to be completely contained in Lot 11.
Second.
Could we change that to pond being located on only one lot, just in case it changes numbers or just lose lots or?
I'm fine with that.
All right, so I have a motion, I have a second. Motion by Ms. Holmes, second by Ms. Davis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, ends the subdivisions. We'll move on to the rezoning portion of tonight's agenda. Just remind everyone that we act as an advisory board to the Board of County Commissioners, so this will be also heard by them at their
June.
meeting. So if you're presenting or interested in or have any interest in any of the rezoning cases this evening, please note that they will be heard again. All right, so we'll move on to case 1914 mod.
Okay, this was approved by the Board of County Commissioners as a mixed-use development in September of 2019. It was a petition to modify this is a petition to modify the approved AR Special Use District located at 4255 NT Highway 42 in the Cleveland Township by altering the approved amenity area to allow for different uses. Its owner is Ford Meadows. Its applicant's Eastwood Holding Fund LLC. Our request is to alter existing SUP by changing the amenities on the site plan, reduce setbacks for 11 lots, and reduce overall lot count by 1. Is served by Macklemore Fire and Clayton Rescue. Is zoned agriculture residential special use district and is a mixed plan development. It's zoned AR, or surrounding land uses zoned AR and used for those purposes. Zoned general business special use district for a shopping center, zoned I2 and used for several industrial purposes. Traffic count is for 42 Highway West is 20,000 vehicles per day, and it is shown on the comprehensive transportation plan as a boulevard needing improvement. It is in a primary growth area. If you go to the conditions, basically, all the special use conditions 1 through 22 was what was approved. 23, 24, and 25 is what's being asked to be changed. Clubhouse was on the original site plan. Amenities will be replaced but with a fenced area containing pickleball courts, dog park, picnic areas, playground equipment. Reduce street side building setbacks for 11 lots to 15 feet and reduce overall lots from 124 to 123.
Any questions? The original conditions, obviously I see in bold the modifications.
Mm-hmm.
What did the original conditions call for as it relates to the amenities?
The only amenities on the plan were clubhouse.
And it was shown, yeah,
So it was amenities on the plan.
on
but
the
there
plan,
weren't
it wasn't,
conditions.
right.
There were any conditions on
Okay. All right, thanks. Any other questions? All right, who'd like to be heard as it relates, or on behalf of case 1914?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, again, good evening. My name is Jonathan Barnes. I'm employed at Dalton Engineering and Associates. Our office is located at 446 East Main Street, Clayton, North Carolina. Tonight, our office is assisting the developer of Meadows mixed-use PUD with the modification to the previously approved special use permit. Thank you, Mr. Marr, for going over all the proposed changes to the previously approved plan. But they do include a change to the amenities, to an amenity area that the developer feels like would be actually a little more useful to the residents of the development. And then the change in building setback, that is for the 11, basically the corner lots that are within the mixed-use PUD. The developer is wishing to actually put a little bit larger product on the ground on those corner lots than what was previously proposed by the previous developer. Hope that makes sense. And then the reduction of one lot that stemmed from putting in an emergency access for the development. Anyway, again, here tonight to help answer any questions that I can. And the developer is also present tonight, and he can also help answer any questions that the board might have.
Can you tell us what the setbacks are for the rest of the lots?
Yeah, it'd be between streets setback, between from the street setback.
With regard to the amenities, what has been promoted to all right, what's been built in the subdivision, what has been promoted to the people that have been in the subdivision as it relates to amenities to date? And the reason I ask is, we've had cases
Yes, we have.
before where developers have marketed certain amenities, proposed certain amenities, marketed certain amenities, shown renderings of amenities, and then have failed to construct those amenities. So I'm just wanting to understand what's been marketed to date?
Okay, if you don't mind me, let me take a kind of a sidestep.
No problem.
And Mr. Jim Cox is here with Eastwood Development.
Thanks, sir.
And
Thank you.
Yeah, if you'll give us a name and address, just so we have it for the record.
Sure. I'm Jim Cox. I'm with Eastwood Homes. Our office is in Raleigh. To answer your question, we kind of put all of the marketing on hold until we kind of did this scenario. We have one sale in there. There's no homeowners living in the community right now. We bought this from Lanny about a year ago, I guess. And we just kind of, we started out going with the clubhouse and the pool, and we started getting a lot of pushback on the cost from homeowners. I mean, the cost, if you have 120 homes in there, it's pretty substantial on a monthly basis. So we decided we wanted to try something different that we felt would be a little more usable for the homeowners that are there, so.
So you said you've got one sale.
One sale.
Okay. Is anyone under contract to build out here?
No, that's the only one.
Okay, that's the only one. Thank you. You can appreciate the
Oh, absolutely.
issue we found ourselves in
Absolutely.
previously as it relates
Yeah,
to.
we kind of said, look, we're going to try and see if we can change this, and we haven't done anything more since then.
Okay.
so.
Do the covenants and restrictions, et cetera, that were provided to that homeowner show that there should be a pool as an amenity?
Does not, no.
Okay.
We've changed everything.
Okay.
And I'm looking on your website, and I mean, I think you've been fair in terms of just showing the site plan and not showing
Yeah.
specific amenities, so I appreciate that.
We had it on there at one time, but it came off quick.
Okay,
so.
good deal. Any other questions of the gentleman?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, sir. What you got?
Just a suggestion, as this is a modification of special use permit, if it's agreeable to the applicant, I would suggest you could actually require that there be a condition added to the special use permit with regard to this modification, since there is only one current owner that is not the developer in the development, that there would be a plat correction with that. Essentially, it would say that the amenities have been changed to be reflective of a special use permit or a site plan that was filed for this particular case. We can help them with language. And then the current owner of the one parcel in there could actually sign that plat or sign that statement, and that way it's covered. So if they have it closed, once again, I would feel better just because they're under contract, in full disclosure.
Okay.
But we could do that plat of correction.
I think that's a-
Or
I think
we
that's
could
a good
require
idea.
that plat of correction.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You may have to help us word that. Okay.
What I can say is, I'll make a motion to approve what Braxton said.
We'll get to that. Please tell me that was not an official motion.
No, it was
Okay,
not.
thank you. All right. Any other questions of the applicant or gentleman that spoke on behalf of that? Okay. Anyone else like to be heard as it relates to this rezoning? Okay, we'll bring it back to staff.
Staff recommendations, approval of the modification due to the slight change.
Now you want me to say it?
What he said.
What he said.
So just keep in mind, there's multiple amendments to the special use permit in this particular situation. It's not just the amenity area.
Right.
Right.
In addition to the reduction, as well as anything special use for your staff to do it.
I do like the idea of that it's being presented. I think that will definitely help sell the subdivision. And it's amenities that people are looking for.
Well, and we appreciate you bringing this up too, again, knowing the issues we've dealt with in the past. So.
Yes, that too.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I
You
make a motion.
started, bro.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, let's make
We
sure
gotta
to
do,
finish
we
your
gotta
motion
make sure
then.
we've got the condition.
Yeah, subject to the conditions we spoke of, that were spoken of.
Yeah.
Let's
I would,
Have you
let's
got
get it in
notes,
there a little bit more
Braxton?
specific than that.
Because I can read it off so it's official.
with regard to your condition 23, in
Mhm.
the staff report, which is modification of the clubhouse on the original site plan, and it's now being replaced with whatever it is, a second sentence to the effect of a corrective plat shall be required to make the modification to the amenities area known to any future or prospective buyers or owners or residents, whatever you want to do, we'll make that work out. And it shall be signed by the only non-developer or, I guess, owner other than Eastwood.
Well, there really isn't an additional owner right now.
Well, by the time they get to them, I'm assuming you'll close before June.
Okay.
So we can just do a corrective plat that was done, and we can note the case of special use permit.
Okay, so then I make a motion to approve with the addition of language for condition number 23. We need to add a corrective plat to reflect revised amenities to current and prospective owners.
I'll second that one too.
Okay. I have a motion by Ms. Holmes, a second by Mr. Sasser. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All
Thank you,
right.
Braxton.
That will go to the Board of County Commissioners as a recommendation for approval.
We do have some motions in front of you.
Yes, I've got two written decisions before me this evening. You should have copies of those, and they're also included on the P-Cloud. We will consider Bennett Cherry Farm Place first. I need a motion and a second and a vote to authorize me to execute this written decision.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by approved by Mr. Little, a second by Mr. Crenshaw. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Opposed? All right, second, we'll consider Investments, Inc.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion approved by Ms. Holmes, second by Mr. Little. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, covers that. Any discussion items or any additional information for us this evening? Thank you. Thanks, everyone. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
So moved. And second. New record, I think.